it's really so magical, like what we actually have access to and what we can actually shift, and that it will actually shift things in this timeline. By the grace of God. Yeah.
Welcome to the Infinite Earth Body Podcast, where we talk about bodies, healing, pleasure, and share stories of embodiment on Earth. Hi, I'm your host, Maya. I'd like to start by taking a few moments to ground, root into our connection to the Earth, call in the support of our most benevolent ancestors and guides, and set the intention for this shared space of connection to be dedicated to the liberation of all beings. Little hummingbird came over. Little red flowers. Beautiful. I'm so excited to introduce our guest today, Désirée Freda. Désirée is an artist and self-healing guide, offering frequencies of embodied joy, beauty, and peace through sacred song, intuitive movement, and quantum healing, past life regression, and earth-based ritual. Désirée, welcome to the Infinite Earth Body Podcast.
Thank you. So happy to be here. Hello, everyone.
So, how is your body feeling today?
I feel there's like some tightness in the middle of my back that I've been working with for a while. I spent a lot of time stretching this morning, so feeling better. But yeah, there's some soreness and tightness. Was that it?
I was a hummingbird, yeah. Is there anything that you feel your body's desiring in this moment?
I think I need some water.
Okay. Good idea. Hydration break.
This is a wonderful start to a podcast. I love this. All conversations should start like this.
So, what does embodiment mean to you?
To me, embodiment means a level of presence in my entire body. So, it's something that really has been a huge part of my journey, the last 5 years, coming into like a realization that, I've been like out of my body for so many years. And even though I do have like a very strong background in dance and theater and like being very physical in my body, there wasn't necessarily that presence. So embodiment is like, I think of listening, and having an awareness of like the consciousness in throughout my body, right? Like in my toes and my fingers. And, you know, it's also, there's so many things we can embody, right? It's like as souls, spirits who are in these like light ships, super powerful, amazing like vehicles, right? We're constantly embodying something. So really, I feel like, okay, maybe that's what it is. I feel like my journey has been learning how to embody my authenticity, because there was a lot of programs, identities, a lot of feelings, things that I was embodying that weren't actually me or authentic to me. And on a micro level, right, that shows up like in the nervous system through being dysregulated or just not being able to feel my own feelings in my body of like, what do I really want, or how do I really feel about something?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so interesting that even though you have so much experience in dance and movement, that you could still not fully be in your body, because I feel like dance is it's a whole practice of physical body practice. So what do you think is like the difference of like being a dancer versus like now in your journey of coming deeper into embodiment?
Yeah. Yeah, I think for me, dance has always been like feels like it was my first language, my primary way of moving through the world. And so those were actually the moments where I'm like, I am channeling my authentic self. Like I am in my body. That was a very, I feel like minute time frame compared to my whole life, right? So when I wasn't in that like creative flow, letting, whatever wants to be channeled through me, then, there was a lot of, I think I definitely tend, towards being in the mental plane, like overthinking, dreaming, and so for me, dance was like, and I'm not going to say always, but I have had the pattern of like forgetting how important dance is to me. And, like as I've gotten older and as soon as I get back to it, I'm like, oh my gosh, like like I'm able to like get out of my head, and all of this other stuff, is able to like process and clear. And of course this journey of embodiment is like, okay, how can I bring that into my day-to-day life? Like throughout my day, not just when I am dancing. Right. Mm-hmm. So that has looked like, just really creating a new baseline for my nervous system, and, which has really been that journey of learning who I really am. And, I grew up in a very like chaotic environment. Definitely dysregulation was my norm. And that was a whole journey of like learning what safety feels like in my body, and what activities and things and thoughts and feelings contribute to that regulation of my nervous system, and like me really feeling like myself. And then there's so many things throughout the day that can help attune, right, me back to being fully myself in my body. So, I'm definitely still like in process with it, and it's like it is still very much a growth edge for me of like consistently being in that practice of like staying in my body, and I'm constantly having to remind myself. But those physical things like are very helpful anchors.
Mm-hmm. What are some examples of those physical anchors?
Yeah, I guess maybe it's not all physical. Mm-hmm. So one, just allowing more spaciousness and like pause to check in with my body and like actually like, how am I actually feeling? I also have the tendency to like just go, just create, like just produce. So continues to be a growth edge, but yeah, I mean, it starts like in the morning of like pausing in the morning, actually feeling where I'm at. I also have an energy work practice. So I, work with grounding earth energy and cosmic energy and elemental energies, and really like see where I'm at in my embodiment. Like, how is my etheric body doing? How's my astral body doing? Because I definitely, of a lineage, and feel like it's pretty like a known thing now that like things are starting in the etheric and the astral realm first, right? So even a lot of it's like I know the pain I have in my back is like not really about it's like there's emotional stuff there's past stuff. I do, that's one of my biggest like anchoring practices, just to be able to feel my own energy, because I'm definitely identify as highly sensitive, which I think like probably many people on this podcast may or watching this, and had the experience for basically my whole life of like not really knowing how I feel, or like feeling great, and then someone comes around who's like is in a total funk, and then by the end of our conversation they feel great and I'm like, I feel horrible now. And just like not having those like energetic boundaries, which of course I didn't have the physical boundaries either. So that was a learning curve as well. But it's really about that, like, okay, what is, for me, embodying my authentic self means like there's naturally going to be boundaries, and it's about sovereignty. It's like, this is me, and this is my aura, and this is what I'm going to allow in my space. And I have a daily and throughout the day cleansing process of cleansing stuff out of my aura and my field that's not mine. In the physical, that looks like actually moving my body. You good?
Yeah, there's
activity.
Tons of hummingbirds coming constantly.
Oh my gosh. Hummingbirds are my favorite. When I was laying out, I was sunbathing, and one was like right here because I was right by the flowers. Oh my gosh, they're my favorite. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, movement, dance, like feeding myself, like actually eating. I feel like I'm like back to the basics. Like I keep saying this. I feel like it's been over a year now, but like I'm in my nourishment era. Like I'm like learning how to nourish myself. Because really how I grew up and how I I had so many just like really, really horrible, toxic stances and relationships and views and perspectives of my body. And it has been such like a transformation. And even though I've really worked on the mental, like clearing the negative self-talk, and even though it still pops up here and there, but, really like transmuting the self-hatred into actual like love and respect, it has showed up in such insidious like ways that I didn't even realize. Like I had this whole kind of breakthrough like maybe 6 months ago with my partner, who was like, yo, like, I don't know, it may be helpful to like consider how you approach food as like an eating disorder, which I would never consider myself having an eating disorder. I'm like, that's not, but like, oh, like you go for hours and you don't eat, like you don't prioritize like feeding your body like that, this could be considered that, so there's been some big like looking in the mirror moments, and just like, oh, right, like really basic stuff. and how, yeah, there's like an underlying program that's like not, it's like, that's coming from like a worthiness thing of like, and just not, worthiness around like actually prioritizing my body, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember what the question was, but
yeah, I mean, I feel like we're just growing up in a colonized culture where we're not taught embodiment. Like most people are walking around not embodied. And so yeah, I identify with a lot of what you said.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like I think you've studied and explored so many different healing modalities and just been on such a deep healing journey. What were some of the most impactful modalities and practices you've learned?
I just like went back to this, my first like improv dance class in college, which I had a very like colonized perception of dance that like if you're doing ballet is it actual dance. But I've always been dancing, choreographing, and I had this like, improv class, and it was like we had this exercise where we were partnered up and one person put a blindfold on and the other person was like your guardian, and for an entire hour you move. Some people are crying, sobbing. Some people, I was eventually weeping. And that was like, that experience, really like the whole kind of semester I was in that class was like, oh, like I have the right to move my body. Like I'm anything, like dancing with your finger, it's like anything can be considered, as movement, as dance. And so yeah, I really credit dance as like the first modality I feel like that I apprenticed that really allowed me to feel who I really am. Yeah. And then I've studied a couple different energy work modalities. One of them is through New Earth Mystery School, which is Miriam Hasana's online school. It's literally like psychic tools for highly sensitive people. So that's been, so supportive to my journey. I highly recommend anyone to go to New Earth Mystery School if that's, some of those schools and or skills and tools that you're, needing or wanting. And yeah, there's also been, we have shared lineage with Dr. G Love and soul shifting retreats, which was really like, oh, what does it mean to embody myself? Really, for me, that was like the beginning of my like, really connection to my ancestors and, getting to like see myself more holistically. And yeah, I feel that it's like, oh, there's so many, because I'm like also constantly like gathering information and like making connections to things. And there's so many, there have been so many teachers. Wow, the animals and the flowers and like just so many beings are out here doing it, like living life fully, yeah. And yeah, I do feel that right now where I'm at, I am like apprenticing like flower medicine and continuing to like really hone my skills around, that like developing that muscle memory with the energy work practice and really developing a deeper nuance with that. Yeah. I find so much, it's like nature is like like so much, it's like all the answers, like, wow, like God has really provided us with everything that we need. And we have these amazing bodies that like, are made of the same stuff of all these plants. And like, it's just, that blows my mind. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I feel, something that, my teacher always says is like, talks about how, each person is like a flower in the garden, right? And like the flowers are never, they're not looking at the other flower like, oh, I wish I was like that flower. All the flowers are like really just embodying themselves authentically and like following their own cycle and their own bloom. And that's what I feel like I'm like really coming into of like, really getting to feel who I am, what I feel like, and really working out those layers of fear like around that, because it's like, oh goodness, like now that I know who I am and like whatever, like I have the perception that I have now, right? But it's like there's a big responsibility with that. Mm-hmm. Like that's kind of the more serious part that's been coming in, is like, okay, cool. Yeah. Like you got your healing, of course the healing journey is like forever, but like you've been given these keys, you've been on this journey, and like, okay, now what? Like this wasn't like, these things aren't given to you for nothing, right? Like there's just like so much work that needs to be done on this planet right now. And I'm still, I'm still in a discovery process of like, what actually does that mean for me in terms of like, my, offerings or how I want to work with people. But, what feels very clear is like authentic embodiment, and just like keep following that spark of like inspiration and joy. And I feel so thankful to be me this life. I'm like, wow, and it's so cool to feel that. Like, whoa, I did not always feel that way,
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like we all, like you're talking about the flowers in the garden, like we're all so unique, and we all have unique bodies and unique journeys in our bodies. Do you have any stories about your unique body experience in this life?
Yeah, there's two things that are coming up for me. Yeah, I guess part of this is a little tangential. I'm a Gemini also, so it happens.
Just follow the tangent.
Right. Down the rabbit hole. Part of like my experience with my body, so much of it has been like in like seeing the mirror that other people are seeing me, like this dual experience of like feeling the projections that are coming onto my body and like interacting with them, and like, whoa, that's a trip, so there was a lot around, like, I grew up in Idaho, which is mostly white. I'm half white, half white club. And, it was like, there was a lot around just like my body, like, oh, just like from the, just like that, like teen, like, oh, like so much pain of like, I'm not a 00, and my hair is not blonde, and I'm not white, and like all these, like, picking apart every little thing, and so, yeah, I guess it's always like, okay, none of this, like, okay, we have a body. It's like, it's so interesting because I kind of, as I, went through, this like latest phase of my healing journey, and I kind of like went on the opposite end of the spectrum, right? Of like, it's just a body. Like, I'm actually a spirit, but it's like, okay, it's like now I'm like back in the middle, and get to see all of it. It's like, okay, right. None of this having a body, like, there's a lot that gets put on that. on a specific body. There's a lot of layers. None of it is in a vacuum. And I also don't subscribe to like having this body means I'm like a victim or I'm oppressed, or you know what I'm saying? Like there's layers, and like my soul chose to have this body, to have this experience, to learn these lessons, and like, and to be birthed into this half Haitian, half white Idahoan lineage to like do some stuff, you know? So, yeah, I mean, I feel like so much of my experience is like, yeah, just looking at the context of what having the body that I have means. And so that's one thing. And I primarily receive information through sense and through actually feeling things in my body. So that's been a whole journey of like learning, understanding what some of the signals in my body mean. And like, you know, I guess a basic form of it is like sensation tracking, but like I get like jolts of energy and like actually feeling like electricity in my body, and have learned how to like read some of that. And yeah, I do. I'm like, okay. And I'm still like, okay, what does this all mean? Like, how am I supposed to work with it? But I do feel that my path is very much about like channeling certain frequencies through my actual body, through my movement, through song. And yeah, letting all of that, I mean, ultimately, I'm here for peace. Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, it's been a bit of a, it's been a bit of a learning curve a journey of owning my particular, like, path of doing that, you know? It's like, I'm here to spread beauty and joy and love. And, like, I had a lot of guilt about that. About, like, yeah, showing up in the body that I have, you know? And that's been, like, kind of the latest part of the journey around it. Like, oh, okay. Like, this is actually, yeah, you know, I had this kind of, when I was 20, first moved to Oakland, I was like, in college, I was like, that was my poor mother. Like, I have like a Black Power feminist tattoo, like on my whole arm. I was so angry and like so radical. And like, it was all about like prison industrial complex abolition, which like still, yes, but that was my whole world. And I like became a member of critical resistance, and I was like working in the office, and then I got like really depressed, and like my whole world, everything was about just the Matrix, you know, and super tangential, but like this is something that is kind of like known, I feel like, in like maybe not so much anymore, but like is kind of a thing that I noticed with like activist communities of like, okay, but like where's God? Where's spirit? Like, this is not sustainable, right? If you think this is the only thing that's it, yeah, you're going to be depressed, you know? And I ended up having to like leave that. I was just like, okay. And then I was simultaneously like taking some dance classes at Laney, and shout out Colette Awa. It was Colette. And it was actually like folkloric Haitian dance, right? So this was like huge for me to like reconnect to my lineage, and which is why I moved to the Bay Area to begin with. And she asked me to join her dance company, and that changed so much for me. It was like, oh, like, okay, like my medicine, like I'm supposed to just be like spreading joy and like sharing this like these high voltage energies, you know, through my movement, through song, through, yeah, like that performing. And then that was like, you know, a whole 10 years of its own journey in terms of like, oh, okay, like there's a lot there. But yeah, I don't even know where we started, but yeah.
Yeah, you talked some about like fear now that you know you're more connected to your authentic self. Yeah. And like some guilt and fear around fully stepping into that. Can you talk a little bit more about like that fear and how you're kind of working through overcoming it?
Yeah. You know, it's like I had my every answer comes with a story, comes with a backstory. My teen sister, who's amazing, she said to me like a year ago, she said something that like really sums up, I feel like, what I and like a lot of humans experience, right? She was like, I'm scared to fully be me because I'm scared of how bright I will shine. Like there's a magnitude to that, like radiating that, you know, true essence. And it was like, dang, first of all, you have that awareness as a 16-year-old, kind of crazy, but I'm like, me too, girl. So yeah, I mean, it feels like, oh yeah, well, there's like, it's like the fear of like other people's judgment or like really like not belonging, wound, and I think also some like past life memories, some things around like, you know, being projected on and scapegoated, or even though I've like kind of played some of that out in this life too. So yeah, it's like, but ultimately I feel like it comes down to like the fear of like what it means if I'm gonna fully be on my path. Like that means there's no more excuses. That means I'm fully responsible for my life. That means I'm fully responsible to the covenant I made, the pact I made with God before I came here. You know? And it also means that like I need to like be accountable and atone for all the moments that I like didn't, you know? And like, of course, it's like God is the well of all grace and all mercy, and yeah, there's so much grace, but that like, looking at, you know, all the moments that like keep going unconscious, keep going back to sleep. Because, yeah, really, I feel like we're all here for a very specific, special reason, right? And it all looks very different. And I feel that that's just like, it's part of the hero's journey. Is that part of it, right? It's like they're rejecting the like, no, this isn't who I am. This isn't. And then it's like, yeah, it is. You gotta, that's why, you know what? Lion King was my favorite. I made my mom take me to that for weekends straight. She would take me to the Dollar Theater. It actually was. So it's basically, I feel like Lion King, Simba, that's the hero's journey, right? Like that's the journey that each soul is on. He's like, nah, like I'm cool. I'd rather play in the forest and eat bugs and da-da-da. And, you know, I kind of feel that, like, I'd rather just be in a garden.
Mm-hmm.
Can't I? No, I'm sorry. You have responsibility. You need to offer your gifts to the world. You could choose not to. It might impact a lot of people. That's on you, but yeah, you need to fulfill your mission, you know? And that's, when I was like, yo, I'm Simba. We're all Simba. We're all the one. Neo, we're all the one. Yeah, you know? So wait, where did that come from? I don't know what was your question. I don't remember, but we could just keep going.
We were talking about...
Oh, the fear.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, that feels like what it is. It's like, ooh, okay. So what does that mean? It means I'm going to have to sacrifice certain things that are, you know, comfortable maybe, or yeah, all changes brings up, you know, discomfort, right? And it has been an interesting transition for me, is like, really, I did my last like theatrical play last summer, played Ophelia. High drama. It's very dramatic. Like, the whole experience was very dramatic. And yeah, that was like the kind of wrap up of this, like, you know, 10-year career of like acting and performing other people's words, you know, and theater acting is all very much a ritual. It's a ritual. So, yeah, there was, just I'm like, okay, I'm like really stepping into myself, and like, if it's not like about uplifting this planet, I don't have the leeway to do it anymore, you know. And there have been many choice points throughout my life. You know, over half of them, I chose the other side, you know what I'm saying? I chose what I needed to survive, or, you know, compromise my integrity or my values or the mission, you know, and kind of, so I've had recently, you know, a really big, like, I feel like reroute, you know, and that's kind of that's part of the play here, right? Is like, there's going to be all these shiny distractions and other things that could take you off path, that will give you that momentary, whatever, satisfaction, but are not going to probably yield results for your soul that you want. So yeah, I've been, at this point, I don't know that I'm like, is the fear still, it's like there's always like another layer, I guess, but I have like worked through a lot of it. And yeah, I'm feeling more like excited to, like share my like authentic frequency, you know, which is, so different from like, people would always ask me like, or like think like acting, it must be so like nerve wracking, or da, da, da. It's like, you're channeling other like frequencies. It's kind of, it's not like bearing your soul, you know, in the same way, I feel like. Yeah.
So did you say that was, you're done with acting, or what is, that's kind of what that sounded like, but.
Yeah, I was saying that. I was like, this is my last show.
Yeah.
I'm done. Yeah. And then I proceeded, I was like, you know, of course, as soon as you like, I found that whenever I'm like, okay, God, this is my path, I immediately got offered like 2 other gigs, you know? And I was like, but it's a stable check. Like, it's a small check. Okay, but it's, you know, I know it would be working, and like, you know, it's fun. It's like in the theater, kiki drama, But yeah, I was like, oh, right. Okay, this is a test point. Like, this is me being checked on my, like, am I going to stand on it? You know? I mean, I love acting. I love ritual theater when it is, theater and acting with the knowing of what we're actually doing. I mean, I have been like really playing a lot more behind the camera, which has been super fun. And ultimately, like, film, visuals, the curation and creation of beauty these are all programming, right? These are all spells. So I'm very interested in creating imagery and like experiences that are expanding people's imagination of what's possible, that are offering an opportunity and even maybe a framework for people to reconnect with their own souls and to, reconnect with God. So yeah, I feel like quitting acting, I'm like, okay, like the commercial stuff, the you know, the other people's like, we gonna reenact this ritual again. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like, come on.
Yeah.
So yeah, not with the art itself, the practice, but not how it's being done.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm really, I'm excited to like collaborate with other people who are, you know, visionaries and like who are really creating authentically. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. What does it mean to you to be on the beauty path and a beauty path guide?
Yeah, I mean, I feel that the first thing is like, it means embodying myself authentically, and there's a level of seeing clearly, like, because there's beauty in everything. Like, this is all y'all can't see, but this is breathtaking. Okay? like, oh, and even the, you know, the tree that's fallen over and it's decomposing. Ooh. A kind of knowing and positionality of like knowing that I'm a soul in this body and that my body is made of the earth and that everything is sacred. Yeah. And bringing that consciousness into every moment, you know? And of course it's like, it's a constant process. So, you know, I feel that, in all the like spaces I curate and the kind of the art that I curate, it is about helping people remember their divinity, their connection to the divine. And yeah, I feel like so much of my art too is like really so, it's like you just gotta take a camera into nature and like boom. You don't have to do a lot, but that like reminding people of that mirror, right? Because I feel that, so many of us have one, just like such intense distortions of our own bodies and how we perceive ourselves and all these like weird beauty, glamour, like all these overlays. And, you know, my specific expertise has been in my own experience as being a woman having a womb, being a femme, right? So I do feel like that's, a foundational part of the medicine. And yeah, it feels that it's, about reminding people of their beauty by reminding them that they're part of nature. They're made out of nature, right? And when we're able to do that, then it's like, okay, so we're in relationship with everything, right? And it's like, and there's so many layers and things that I'm like, ooh, I need to get my act together in terms of how I am showing up as a human on this planet right now and the level of waste I'm producing and like all these things. The shopping, all this stuff, right? So it's definitely like we all have our things that we need to like really shift.
I saw you identify as a self-healing guide.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So, I really see myself as a facilitator for people to heal themselves. I believe that we all have the ability to, run energy, use our imagination and our own unique psychic gifts of perception, which there's so many and everyone is so different. But to heal ourselves, I believe that that's one of our God-given rights. And of course, there's certain things, you're gonna have to accept, right? It's like, it doesn't mean that you're not gonna suffer or like have certain illnesses or whatever, right? Because like God's plan is God's plan. But yeah, I feel that anyone who's like, I'm gonna heal you, is sus. Like, it's giving savior complex. It's giving, are you actually trying to harvest my energy? Like, what's happening here? So, the specific framework that I kind of, entered into like this with was through the past life regression and quantum healing. So I was trained by Rising Phoenix Aurora. It is kind of let me not drop that name. Anyways, I view it as like an updated past life regression quantum healing, that you not only go on your journey, but you do like a very deep energetic body scan. So, the framework is really that each being, has their own direct connection to the divine and has a soul and a higher self, or a soul or a higher self, that has access to certain information, and that we each have the answers that we need. That doesn't mean we don't need teachers and that there's not, benefit in lineage and all of that, but we're really like, you hear so many people say, right? It's like we're entering the Aquarian age, or we're no longer in the Piscean age where you need an intermediary between you and the divine, right? Like we actually all have that direct connection. And whether that be, a person just on their prayer mat, like talking to God, or, going into a meditation and, receiving the information, the healing that they need. I feel like there's, so many paths that people connect. But in my particular work, it is really about just like setting the container for people to receive information from their own soul. Yeah, so in a, I guess, kind of like logistics way, that looks like someone being induced into like a theta state of hypnosis. I'm basically just talking with their soul the whole time, and they're kind of telling me what they see and what they find. And then we're, of course, like bringing in, the angels to do certain stuff, and but all for, the highest good and healing for that person. Yeah. And there's a lot of crazy stuff we find. And, it's wild. Like there's people who I've had sessions with that, they have certain entities, in their auric field from like a healer or from like a group Reiki session in the community, you know? Yeah. So it's like, yeah, we could have great intentions, but if we're not like, have a level of awareness or like, an acknowledgement that like anybody could catch, no, that's bad. But what does catch a body mean? Anyways, what I mean is anybody could catch a body, but like anybody could get body jumped, you know, like anyone could have stuff in their aura or their field that is not theirs. And it's happening to us all the time. And it's not a huge deal, you know? So yeah, definitely. Yeah, I definitely used to be like very naive, and I still have some of that, but like just everything is butterflies and rainbows, you know, and like borderline like bypassing, you know, and I learned some hard lessons there with some people who I'm like, oh, word, like I put you on a pedestal. I like gave my power to you because I didn't feel like I could do it myself, and then like I learned a lesson the hard way, you know? Mm-hmm. And that does feel like that's the moment that we're in, humanity's in, right? And for myself, yeah, it's something I still work on, you know, of like continuing to like, yeah, the only being on a pedestal is God with a capital G. And everyone else, you a colleague, you an associate, you know, we're here, mm-hmm. You know? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Did I answer your question?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like this whole conversation has been about this, but mm-hmm. I'm curious what the word healing means to you, and specifically like the practice you were talking about, quantum healing. Mm-hmm. Like if you could talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, healing. You know, honestly, I might be done with the word healing in a little bit. Like, I'm not sure, like, I haven't come to any conclusions, but I'm like, I'm not necessarily, like, attached to it. Like, I feel like I've kind of been like, weaning off of, like, a kind of obsession, like, an addiction to, like, healing. I'm healing, and I gotta heal this, and now I'm gonna heal that. And I'm like, okay, that's also not it, you know? So, maybe it's more of remembering. It's just like remembering your natural state of being with a soul that is here to serve the divine. That's how I feel. Like you here for a reason, and it's to serve God and do how you do it. Everybody gonna do it. We all got our own special way to do it. The healing part, it's like, okay, well, yeah, it's like I see it as a coming back home to oneself. And like, yeah, we're in this realm where it's like you're constantly, there's all this muck that's constantly like getting on you, and experiences that are, you know, traumatizing and all of this stuff. So, I do feel like, healing to me at this point is like, it means remembering who I really am. Mm-hmm. And coming back home to myself and just authentically being in my body and like clearing everything that's not me. Mm-hmm. Quantum healing, I'm not a scientist, okay? But how I think about it is like getting to do that outside of the confines of time and space. Like working in, you know, and when we're in this theta state, which is like the state you're in, like right when you wake up, before you go to bed, like that kind of in between. It's also the state you're in when you like watch TV and like zone out, when you like drive somewhere and like don't realize you're like, I just got home. I don't remember the last 20 minutes, you know? This is a state where we can really like very easily like connect with our soul and that like true essence and that like inner knowing. And it's a space where we, you know, in meditation, visualization, imagination, because it's all here. Or just knowing. There's so many ways. But where we can travel to our childhood and, offer ourselves something that we didn't actually get in our lived reality. We can, visit ourselves when we're in our mother's womb. We can go back and offer, a blessing and a healing to our ancestors. We can go into the future. We go to the parent. There's so much we could do. It's important to let it only be what is in alignment with divine plan. Because you could really create a bit of a mess if you just go on Adventure Time, but it's really so magical, what we actually have access to and what we can actually shift, and that it will actually shift things in this timeline, by the grace of God.
Is there anything else coming up right now that you're feeling called to share?
Can I sing something?
Yes, please.
It's an edge that we're growing into.
Yay.
Okay. Let's see if I remember all the words. This is a song that came through when I was up in Northern California in Occidental, staying in this cabin, in this solar retreat. And it just bloop, 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 came out. So I walk the beauty way. I walk the beauty way. May I be a blessing to all beings as I walk the beauty way. May I always flow in harmony as I walk the beauty way. I walk the beauty way. I walk the beauty way. May I be a harbinger of peace as I walk the beauty way. Rose petals all around my feet as I walk the beauty way. Bless all directions from the mountains to the sea. May all beings be free. May all beings be free. I walk the beauty way. I walk the beauty way. May I be a blessing to all beings as I walk the beauty way.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. First time singing it on camera.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
What are some ways you've been finding pleasure in your body lately?
Laughter. Yeah, there's been a lot of laughter recently. And this kind of just message around not taking things so seriously and letting the joy and the laughter be the medicine. Yeah, those deep belly laughs. Just over the bent over. Yeah. Yeah.
What are your favorite ways to pamper and nourish and care for your body?
Oh my gosh. Wow. I love being in water. Yeah, being in a river, that's like, just like laying in a garden that's like right next to a river and then just going into a river. Like, I have never done that, but I would love to. I'd love to have my future home there. Yeah. Massages, wonderful. Chiropractic, love. And yeah, dancing, moving. Mm-hmm.
What are your favorite things about your body?
Wow, my body is, oh, dang. So resilient and like forgiving. Wow. Like, my body has really like rocked with me when I like was not rocking with my body for a long time. So I'm just like, I'm so thankful. I'm thankful. Yeah, I love how strong my body is and how like open to new experiences and ability to flow with change. And yeah, I love my body's capacity to feel, yeah, and to flow. Dang. Wow. Okay.
Well, that's all my questions.
Wow. This is so beautiful. I love this podcast. I hope you're enjoying. This is the best. Yeah, and this is such needed. Like, okay, I'm so thankful to you for asking me to have this conversation with you. I feel like a lot of what I've articulated in this conversation is like the first time it's been articulated, and I'm like, this is kind of like, oh, okay, wow. It's on camera, and I'm like proclaiming all kind of stuff. And wow, like, yeah, healing, remembering, like, yeah, this is who I am, and this is my body, and like, yeah, so thank you. This feels like such a gift for me to get to experience this. And yeah, oh, there's like what's that? I get like, okay, a little pin. All right.
Sensation,
right? Sensation,
the body.
Exactly. Yeah, I feel that it will be a gift to so many people, and yeah, I pray that yeah, it is received by all those who it's meant to be received by, and that it may open people's hearts and yeah, offer an opportunity and a permission slip, even if they need it, to ask these questions of themselves and to, yeah, be with their body in a new way. And yeah, you're amazing. I mean, like, I had nothing to do with it, but like, I'm really proud of you. And like, this is really beautiful. And I know you've been on like a whole journey of like, yeah, like coming out of the shadows and being visible, and like, this is bold, like a whole video podcast. I'm super inspired. And
thank you so much.
So
thank you so much for showing up, and your presence and authenticity and your magic and beauty.
Thank you. I love you.
I love you too. You're making me cry. I'm already tearing up. So where can people find you online and learn more about you and your work? And
yes, Instagram at Wild Rose Sister. I think we've landed on that. I've changed my handle like 5 times in the last year. But yes, Wild Rose Sister, wildroserituals.com, and also wearethenewparadigm.com, where me and my co-collaborator, Ev, are over there doing all the quantum healing and beauty, creating things.
Amazing.
Yeah.
We can link those.
Yeah, wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Right. I'm going to close this container and seal the medicine we shared and give thanks to our most benevolent ancestors and guides. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode. Be sure to subscribe wherever you're listening or on YouTube, and feel free to leave any questions, other topics you'd like to hear about in a future episode, or anything else you'd like to share in the comments. Please leave a review for the podcast, and if you'd like to go deeper in the conversation in our inner circle, you can join our Infinite Earth Body Collective Patreon. You can see the link in the show notes, and thank you again so much for tuning in, and see you in the next episode.